Hey guys, I'm Samantha and I'm here to do my April wrap-up for you guys. For the month of April, it was a pretty productive month, just in general. Not as much as a page count, really. I think I average out around the same amount as March. But I did have quite a few really good reads that I have really enjoyed. So I have my phone here and Goodreads pulled up with the information. So let's get started. The first book I finished in April was Black Sun by Rebecca Rohanhorse. This is book one of the Between Earth and Sky series. I rated this a 4 stars. I had originally started this book as one of the prompts for Rebecca's 48-hour Bookoplathon. Obviously, I didn't finish it into the beginning of April, but I still really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the plot line of learning about the different territories in the country and following the main character's arcs. It was a multi-point of view type of format, and sometimes I don't really enjoy those types of books so much, because sometimes I feel like the authors switch too often and too frequently between the characters. Like in Game of Thrones, for example, there is at least about like 8 different characters you were following, and it changed so often you kind of forgot whose point of view you were in. But I felt like Rebecca Rohanhorse did a very good job of not making it so jarring with switching in between the characters, so I really enjoyed that. I had also read at the beginning of April Bronte by Manuela Santoni. I rated this a 4 stars. This is a new graphic novel that is coming out. I read this as an arc from NetGalley. I really enjoyed the art style of this. It reminded me of the graphic novel Vincent that I read, I believe, either at the beginning of this year or at the end of last year. I can't quite remember now. But it follows the Bronte sisters of the time period before they start writing their novels, and how their lives kind of progressed from there, and how they dealt with their family issues as well. I really did enjoy this, and I highly do recommend when this is released. I'm not sure when it's going to be published. Let's see. I can actually just look at it. Let's see. It's coming out May 4th, so it should be out now as when I'm recording this. The next book I had finished is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno-Garcia. I rated this a 4 stars. It's rated as a horror thriller novel on Goodreads. The ending did have the classic horror themes to it, but it took up until the last quarter of the book, for me anyways, for the horrors part to actually set in. But other than that, I really did enjoy this novel. It had me wanting to keep reading it, which is always a plus when it comes for books. If I'm not that interested in a book, I tend to give it a lower rating, but with the intrigue that she kept feeding into the beginning of the book, it made me want to see where it was going. I also participated in the Thrills and Chills Readathon that was hosted at the end of April, and for that I read Small Spaces by Katherine Arden, which is the first book in the series. It's a middle grade mystery thriller type novel. I rated this a 4 stars. I really enjoyed the storyline, and it was probably the first middle grade novel that I actually read and really had enjoyed in a long time, because I don't usually read middle grade that often, and I'm trying to dip my toes in it with some books that I heard recommended by multiple booktubers, so I highly recommend this one as well. I also read The Disaster Taurus by Ko-eun. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but I rated that a 3 stars. I read this also for the Thrills and Chills Readathon. I thought it was okay. I wasn't blown away by it. It It follows a character who works for a company that specializes in vacations to disaster areas. So places that had been hit by natural disasters like hurricanes and tsunamis. They set up a disaster vacation for people to go to those areas to bring tourism to those areas, I guess, to help the economic issues that are in that area due to the what happened to them. And it just follows the main character's dark path that she is dealing with that company and how it ends up for her. I found it kind of dry to read, and the translation, at least with this copy, I believe it was in like a first print of the translation, so there were some like editing errors in it, so it kind of did take me out of the book a little bit. And honestly, I wasn't really too interested in like really reading it, but I did follow through and finished it. So it is something that was recommended by the Book Riot Read Harder Challenge and their Read or Dead podcast. They recommend it for like a mystery thriller type, so that's why I picked it up. And during the Thrills and Chills Readathon that weekend was Mel Reads and her friends. They hosted their monthly 24-hour readathon, and the Dewey's 24-hour readathon also happened as well. And for these readathons, I do have separate vlogs for those, so if you're interested, you can check that out on my channel. But I finished reading the How to Read Tarot guide by Adams Media. I rated this as 5 stars on Goodreads because it's a really, really awesome source to look into if you are wanting to learn more about how to read tarot. I'm definitely going to keep using it as a reference whenever I do my own readings. And during that readathon as well, I read Saga's volumes 5 through 7, and I rated those 3 stars. This is a highly beloved graphic novel series by Brian K. Vaughan, and I can see why people are like super interested in it. It does have a lot of action in it, which is the main reason why I keep reading it. I'm just not in love with it like everyone else seems to be. When it comes to sci-fi, it's really hit or miss for me, but I did rated these 3 stars as kind of a middle. 3 stars is kind of a it's okay kind of rating for me, so it wasn't too bad. And I also read volume 8 the week after the readathon, but I didn't read it during that time. And then I also gave that a 3 stars. But I also read Cheer Up, Love and Pompoms by Crystal Frasier. I rated this a 4 stars, and this comes out August 10th of this year. I read it as an e-galley from NetGalley. I really enjoyed it. It is a graphic YA novel that follows a young trans girl and her friend who it came out as gay, and it just follows their relationship throughout their high school times. And I thought it was really sweet, and I definitely would like to see more come from this series. And I read a small bind-up of the Runaways Marvel Age Volume 1, The Pride by Brian K. Vaughan. I rated this a 3 stars. It was more of a hardback comic because of how short it was. It wasn't a full volume bind-up like I thought it would be. And since it was just a short version of it, I couldn't really get into the storyline so much, but I just thought it was okay. Maybe something that I'll pick up the other bind-ups of it later on down the road. And that looks like it was it for what I had read for the month of April. So it was definitely a pretty good month. No 5 stars, unfortunately, but definitely quite a few 4 stars. So I'm pretty happy with that. Let me know in the comments below what you finished in the month of April, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.